Hey, it's Chuck Armstrong with Loudwire Nights, and this is Loudwire Nights On Demand. It was a sincere pleasure to have the Sisters of the Warning on the show, talking about their brand new album and even talking a little bit about Metallica. This first aired on Tuesday, May 21st. Enjoy. On June 28th, The Warning will release their latest full-length record, the incredible Keep Me Fed. And tonight, to help us get all ready and excited for what will no doubt be one of the best releases of 2024, I am beyond excited to say we've got the three sisters of The Warning hanging with us, Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Listen, I got to have you each say hello and give us your name, because this is the radio and we have to, put voices to names. So let's jump in.
Of course. Yeah. Hey, I'm Danny.
I am Pau.
And I am Allie.
And we're The Warning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So listen, I got to say, congrats on Keep Me Fed. I've gotten to spend some time with it, and I can't wait for the whole world to hear it. And I gotta imagine for you, there is some level of anxiety in the in-between of finishing an album and then waiting for the world to hear it and get their hands on it. Is that right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, this whole album was just a very different process in which we were writing and recording this album in between tours. So then we finished recording the album and then we stopped touring. So it was just such a jarring, little weird limbo that we had in between. But now we're releasing singles and we're touring with them. So it doesn't feel that bad, but we can't wait for it to be June and for people just to have this album.
How long have you had it finished? How long are you waiting now?
For I think
it's not that long.
No,
we finished it in December. Well, we
recording. But finished mixing it in February. So it's just
6 months already.
No, 5.
It doesn't feel like that long. We've been doing so many things.
Oh my God.
But now that I think about it, 6 months, 5 months,
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, and this marks your fourth full length since your debut, 21st Century Blood, and it's the follow up to 2022's Error. And just kind of like you hinted at, a lot has happened since then. In between that record and where we're at today. You've shared the stage with some absolutely massive bands. You took the world by storm at the 2023 MTV VMAs. And you also, and this is really amazing, you became the face of Pepsi Black in Mexico. Is that right?
Yes, we did.
What has that been like? I mean, that's a pretty iconic brand to all of a sudden be, oh, hey, guess what? We're the face of it.
Yeah, no, that has been amazing. We were part of this. It's called the Ripple campaign for Pepsi Black in Mexico.
We did it last year.
Yes, we did.
Look forward to it for this year as well.
Yes.
It's just been really, now that you say it and you start saying the things that we've been doing over the past year. And I can't believe it. I can't believe that we've lived through so much and having these amazing opportunities that we've been working so hard to get, and seeing that we're doing it and we're living in that right now. It's just so exciting. And I can't wait for this album to come out and for us to finally do all the things that we're planning to do with the album. And just sharing that with everybody, it's going to be amazing.
I kind of take it from that response that you don't too often kind of take that moment to stop and really reflect on everything that has happened.
Right. We know it's important and we try to do it as much as we can. But yes, everything is
there's always so much going on
fast.
That it's hard to take a moment.
Take that time. Recently, things that we can't necessarily talk about, but very big things are happening. And as they give us these news, we're all sitting down and looking at each other how is this happening? When did we become a band where things like this happen to us?
Yeah.
And it's just we all start kind of tearing up and we talk about the things that we did that led us to having these opportunities. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a big domino effect of so much hard work of not only us, the band, but so many people, so many teams that work with us and grow with us, and seeing the results of that and celebrating them together has just been very nice right now.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have been doing this, officially as The Warning, since 2013, but obviously you've known each other for your whole lives and, probably been dreaming about this or other things, for just as long. It's kind of crazy, right? That it's only been, in some ways, it's only been 11 years, but in other ways, it's man, it's been 11 years. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And it's really crazy to think, I feel like I have a hard time thinking about tiny Danny, not hard time, as if oh man, that's tough. No, and I can't
imagine.
Remember, it's
everything
We've
is
lived
just so.
yeah.
I feel like I've
so
lived
much.
3 different lives just
Yeah,
over the past
exactly.
2 years. Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
we've been doing this for a decade.
Yeah, it's hard to think about like how we started 10 years ago, and
Yeah.
And it's a really weird feeling because we've been playing for a decade, but I feel like we're just starting out.
Exactly.
Like
as
our
well.
career is just starting to like sizzle. So it's just really insane to me that we have the experience of a 10-year band,
Exactly.
but we're just starting out in our careers.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting way to put that. Like you have a decade's worth of experiences, highs and lows, and you've learned how to do things, how not to do things. But then you also have this new energy as if you're just debuting right now. And so that really kind of puts
For
you
sure.
ahead of the game in some pretty incredible ways.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it more than anything, it's just so jarring. It's bizarre.
it is.
And
It's a
only for
weird
us,
feeling.
for like our whole team, it's like, oh my God, we've known each other for 8 years. When did this happen? And obviously, this experience of 8 years puts you in a certain place mentally in
Yeah.
which you can fully just like really take advantage of all the opportunities that are coming your way and just like really use them to like the max.
So take me back to 2013 if you can. And I know that you don't do this often, right? You don't stop and you don't look back too often, but let's do that. And you officially come together as The Warning. You start working on your first EP, your first full length. What was the goal for you 11 years ago? Like what were you hoping would happen?
I mean, our goal at that point, I think, was just like get better, because we were still like kind of learning how to play together as a band, because that in and of itself was something that we had to learn.
And
To like
I
do.
feel like I'm
I
gonna
feel
get.
like-
No, go ahead.
no, I feel like when we did the EP, when we recorded that, we just did it to like start writing and to have the experience of like record something and record music, and that's how we started writing. So I feel like that was the goal at that point, to like learn how to do that.
What makes me really emotional though is like that was the goal, but the dream is what we're doing right now. Like I was just
Yeah.
thinking about this. Like, what was I thinking about when I was doing that little EP? And it's this, like what we're like the tours that we're doing right
That's
now, the
insane.
shows that we're
That's so
playing. And it just it makes me so happy to think that we are literally living out our dreams. Like these are our dreams come true. And
Even more so.
No, no,
Like,
like-
we couldn't even imagine that
exactly.
far.
Like what we're living now and what we lived the past year was the dream.
Literally.
So now that the
We're, like,
dreams are coming
surpassing
true,
it.
and now we're doing more things above that,
Oh man.
it's just really crazy. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever smiled this much in interviews. I love this. This is awesome. So then, okay, let's fast forward. Then here we are in 2024, new album coming out, new big things that you kind of tease us about, but you can't tell us anything about. What's the dream now? Like what's that next goal or that next dream that you might have?
That is so daunting to
It
think
is.
about because it's always been the same one for so long.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just like keep growing, keep
Mhm.
sharing our music with more people, and being able to keep writing and keep
And you know what? Keep being like surprised and just like grateful of
Oh,
it.
that's
you know?
a great. That's a
It's
great
like-
goal.
that is a great
Because
goal.
sometimes things go by so quickly that you forget the weight of what
What
you're doing. Like
definitely.
we just released the date for our biggest show ever, which would be an Auditorio Nacional, which is a very big venue here in Mexico. It's like a 10K cap. And we sold it out in one day. And when that
was like-
happened, it was like, what
yeah, and
is
then
going on?
the show is in a year.
It's in February.
It's in
and like we
February.
look back and we did like an 8,000 cap room last year, and when we it sold out like pretty quickly, but
But
it took like
Months.
4
months.
months,
Yeah.
4 or 5 months, and
Yeah.
now in a day, like it's
insane.
it's just
So you see those type of
like those
things
little-
and you're like, what can I dream of? Because after that theater, it's like arenas. And
Yes.
after arenas, it's like stadiums.
They keep
and
shocking us.
So
like,
it's
that's
just
amazing.
very heartwarming moments like these ones where you can think, like you can give yourself the space to think like, what is the next step?
Right.
And like we're working so hard for those next steps, not only us, but like our whole team, that the goal really is to appreciate like every
Every
step
single
that
one.
we're taking right now.
yeah.
I love that. Well, yeah, I mean, certainly, I think, one of those goals has to be like, how do you remain humble's probably not the right word, but how do you keep, finding gratitude in all of these things and not losing yourself in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which it's, probably helpful to have the three of you together and you can support one another. Yeah. Nobody knows you better than each other. And so that's a pretty unique thing to have.
It's a great thing to have. Yeah. Because I see what we're living right now and the growth that we've been having over the past year. It's such a jarring thing to live, like just that change in your life.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it by myself.
Yeah, no.
Like going through those changes by myself, because obviously our team is living it with us, but they don't understand what it's like to be like the person, like the product, the musician. It can be such an isolating experience, but to have that with your sisters, with your family, it's just really, really comforting.
Yeah.
And to know that you can grow in that way with the people that love you the most.
That's awesome. And if any one of you gets out of line or you start thinking, you're, that's it.
Yeah, we got to keep each other in check, for sure.
I love it. So, hey, let's, I want to dive into one of the singles that you've released from Keep Me Fed, Sick. And, I said, like, I've never smiled this much in an interview, and I just love the energy and the positivity. But it doesn't take too long to dive into the lyrics to get a sense that there might have been some negativity or anger or frustration behind the theme of this track. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Of course. Actually, this is very funny because we have gotten that throughout our music career. It's like, hey, you look like such like happy people. Like, why do you write like such dark lyrics? And we're like, well, no. But like we usually,
you vent
when you write.
It's normal. That's the outlet.
Emotions.
And Sick really came from a place where, we started working when we were really young, like really, really, like we were kids. So there are certain parts of life that we just completely missed out on. Like we just didn't live it. And I feel like one thing that we didn't have while growing up and while we were working is the opportunity to make mistakes.
The rebellious era. Just
like the space and the liberty to make a mistake and not be judged for it, or for it to not have repercussions on your sisters, on your work, on your team. So it's just kind of about venting about that. Like, hey, I want to live. I want to make mistakes. I want to be a mess and just live my life for a second and have just until it makes me sick. That's how it came about. But now it's more like, I just want to have fun. Yeah. It's a fun song. And that's the way that we play it live. Like, it's just a little rebellious moment within the album of like, hey, screw this. YOLO, let's go.
I love that. No, it is this great mix of, maybe a more, whatever, negative's not the right word, but that more sort of focus that you just described. But the music itself, man, is a blast too. And so you have that dichotomy of the two living together.
Exactly.
Is that, do you think that's representative, just kind of that feel of the song of the rest of the album?
Ooh,
I don't know. I feel like this album varies so much of styles in between the songs. We have very, I feel like very fun, kind of like poppy-ish songs. I will even throw that out there. But then we have really heavy songs. I feel like the heaviest songs we've ever written on this album. Yeah. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah. It depends on the song and the emotion that we would want to portray, I guess. But definitely Sick falls into the fun, very fun
category.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Listen, I'm a massive Metallica fan. And we love Metallica at Loudwire. So I got to bring up the Blacklist compilation that came out a few years ago. Not only is your cover of Enter Sandman part of the comp, but it literally opens things up, right? It was the first track on this huge compilation. Yeah. It's the first song. If you just hit play, it's The Warning covering Enter Sandman, which is pretty incredible. So can you just give the Loudwire Nights listeners kind of the story on how this came about that you ended up being on the Blacklist?
Of course. Well, we actually have a history with Enter Sandman because in 2014, was it 13?
14, I think so. Yeah.
We covered the songs when we were very young. So that's kind of what jump-started our whole career. And then we started making, our music, and so
we went viral with Enter Sandman.
Yeah, we did. So having the opportunity to celebrate 30 years of the Black Album with this song in our own version and along with Alessia Cara was a huge honor. And we actually had very little time to do this. We had a week to just have the idea, arrange everything, rearrange everything, because we had to make, a version that really appealed to our sound, Alessia sound, and keep, Metallica's core energy in it. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge.
We had to record it, mix it, and master it within that week.
Woo-hoo.
But it was just such a cool thing for us to be part of this amazing, it also for an amazing cause as well.
Exactly.
Just to participate in everything in it and having this huge full circle moment for us. Mm-hmm. And also we got a very big thumbs up from Metallica from that version, which was amazing for us. And we're really proud of what we did. We love our Enter Sandman version with Alessia. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I do too. It's amazing, and I love that it does set it up. It sets up the whole compilation, and that's such a big burden for one song to carry. But yes. I think it's the perfect song to open the compilation.
Thank you so much.
And as you talk about your dreams and goals over the years, that had to have been a moment where you're just our dreams aren't big enough to even think about getting the thumbs up from Metallica.
How could you come up with that?
You can't imagine that will happen at one point in your life until it does.
That's amazing. Well, you guys are gearing up for a big year, not just the release of Keep Me Fed, but some major shows that you've already talked about. Several gigs across Japan, some huge festivals in Europe later this year. There will be a handful of North American dates. Hopefully that schedule gets bigger and bigger for the fans in America. Keeping my fingers crossed for that. But just want to say congrats on everything that you've achieved over the last 11 years. And truly congrats on Keep Me Fed. It is out on June 28th. Fans can pre-order the album. Stay up to date on all of your global touring plans and set reminders for when tickets go on sale so they don't miss it. Everything at thewarningband.com. Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra, thank you so much for hanging. And hopefully we can have you back on the show soon.
Oh, we would love that. Thank you so much for your time. Yes.
That wraps up this episode of Loudwire Nights on Demand. Stay caught up with everything happening in the world of rock and metal on the Loudwire app and at loudwire.com.